The wife of Kebbi State Governor has stressed the need for advocacy, especially at the grassroots level, in order to record tremendous value in the campaign against gender-based violence. She declared this as she joined the United Nations office in Nigeria at the Women at Risk International Foundation for an early morning walk to commemorate the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence in Nigeria. Moya Thomas reports.
Gender-based violence in Nigeria has become a scourge that requires all hands on deck to address. Many factors, including traditional beliefs, continue to mitigate against efforts to end sexual and gender violence, especially for the vulnerable. This group believes creating awareness is a strong weapon in achieving the needed success in ending this menace that is an abuse of human rights.
Glad to report that we had the first case of life imprisonment, somebody sentenced to life imprisonment for rape in Kebbi. So we're getting there slowly but surely. We have to keep up the pressure, we have to keep up the advocacy, we have to keep up the conversation so that we can get to the end of this scourge.
It's give a signal against violence against women and girls. As our t-shirts say, there should be no tolerance of violence, of any violence, and in particular violence against women and girls.
About 10,000 women and girls on a daily basis in Nigeria experience gender-based violence, and this has to stop. So we're advocating to governments, to people, to organizations, to everyone, to implement the policies that are being passed and to make sure that they are not just passive bystanders but active bystanders, so that everyone can, carry out this collective effort to make sure that we end rape and sexual violence.
There should be zero tolerance at all levels for gender violence in Nigeria, given that UN data says 1 of 3 women have experienced violence, especially by intimate partners. The UN is also calling for more implementation of the Violence Against Persons Act, which has been passed by 34 of the 36 states in Nigeria. Moya Thomas, TVC News, Abuja.
Now let's talk about education matters. Enthusiasts and scholars in this sector converged for the 4th edition of the Education Stakeholders Summit in Ikorodu. Science, technology, engineering and mathematics were the focal points of discussions during the summit. The keynote address delivered by Dr. Waziri Adisa, a senior lecturer at the University of Lagos, emphasized on the need for practical use of education and comprehensive model to promote STEM education to enable pragmatic growth for the 21st century. The event, which had in attendance royal fathers led by the Ayogburen of Ikorodu, Oba Kabiru Adewale, also had awards presented to various schools, groups and individuals for their commitment to the growth and development of education in Lagos State.
For Nigerian development to move rapidly, like other developing nations, we must adopt pragmatic education. We must invest massively in STEM education. We must formulate policies that are driven by skill development. We must also move teaching from teacher-centered to student-centered.
We want to have an impact into the education of our division. We will issue a communique which will pass to government that STEM education, they've already started it according to the contribution from the Honorable Commissioner and the representative of the Permanent Secretary, that they are already doing it. But they've given them suggestions on how to do more.
Technology, science drives society now. And in a situation when you are not conscious of that issue of science driving society, then you are missing a point.
I'm here to inform you that we have over 65% employed to Ikorodu division to teach mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, applied mathematics, and further mathematics. I need to give it to Mr. Governor.